Welcome to the Crownsmen Show, everyone. I am one of your hosts, Jerrod Downey. We've got Mr. Roy Slack and Mr. Rory Bamford on the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Everyone.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen. I don't even know how to start today. I feel we missed the week, so now I'm out of practice. Roy, let's start with you. What are we drinking today? What do you got for us? Brought to you by Cranky Old Men Drinking Beer.
I want to, before we do that, I just want to do something I think is interesting, is that on the website, we review different beers, and sometimes we reference things. And I don't know if you've heard of this before. This is a hilarious comic, Too Much Coffee Man. And his superpowers are derived from smoking too much and drinking a special brew of coffee that he makes in his laboratory upstairs. Anyway, I was reviewing a coffee stout, and I referenced Too Much Coffee Man, and in the review I said it was Just Enough Coffee Man is the new sidekick who meets Too Much Coffee Man. The reviews get pretty bizarre, but the end of the story is there's a place on the website for comments, and Shannon Wheeler, who's the author of Too Much Coffee Man, sent a comment saying, I love it. And he sent me an email, and really interesting guy, but just some neat things happen.
You're getting a little recognition. That only took, a couple hundred reviews. You're getting some traction, Roy.
It's all coming together now.
Is he Canadian? Is that a Canadian comment?
No, I think he's based in Portland.
Oh, cool.
But anyway, it's just neat. And he did send a note that there was a Too Much Coffee Man beer that came out a few years ago. I don't think it's still on the market now, but just interesting. We get different people sending things in. We get some guest reviews, and so I just thought I'd share that with you. Our beer today is Hazy Roy, a Hazy Boy.
Hazy Roy. I wonder why you chose this one.
And it's from Refined Fool Brewing out of Sarnia. And they come out, we love them. Their beer is good, but their beer names are even better. I mean, we've reviewed some Hat Day is Canceled, one of the beers, Mediocre Bowler and Friend, Florida Stole My Parents, Zane lost his avocado bag, and my favorite beer name from them is Illiterate Librarians. So these guys have some great names, and if you do check out the can, what do they say? They say you'll be thinking about Roy long after your last sip. Doesn't that sound sentimental? So
yeah,
so
why are
that's
you
the
cutting
beer
out the beginning?
we're doing
The
today.
whole thing is pillowy soft, juicy, and oh so hazy. You'll be thinking about Roy long after your last sip. That's just weird.
I didn't want to add that first part there.
I know you didn't, and that's why I did.
I'm pretty sure that was the most important part, too.
Yeah, no, he got out the most important. By the way, on a side note, I had officially the most awkward sales call that I ever have had. The guy ended up buying, but I was on the call, and right off the bat, where I told you about it, I was just off. So I started off. He's like, he was in North Carolina. I'm like, oh, do you are you into the Carolina Hurricanes? Trying to connect a little bit. He's like, no, not really into hockey. Then you could tell he clearly didn't care about hockey. Then he told me the product was manufactured in Sweden. I ended up talking about Vancouver was connected to Sweden because we had these Swedish twins that played for the Canucks.
Oh, jeez.
And you know how you start talking and halfway through you're like, I should not be talking right now, but you're halfway through, so you can't just bail on the conversation.
Might as well keep going.
So he just gives me this blank look, and I finish my ridiculous story about absolutely nothing.
Could have been worse, Jerrod. You could have done the Swedish Chef.
What is that? Well, I did Swedish Twins. That was awkward
Oh,
enough.
okay.
But I think he
We're
did.
trying keep this. This isn't an R-rated show. You're talking about
No, they
doing
did.
Swedish Twins now.
No, but Rory,
The
you were saying
Sedines.
the Sedines did the Swedish Twin showing up at a bachelor party.
I'm a hockey guy. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
But
I don't
there
know
are
if we're allowed
others
to
that may
bring up
be
that commercial.
misinterpreting that.
He didn't. He was like, I don't know why you're talking to me about Swedish Twins right now.
Yeah, no, he just gave me. It was literally just like 30 seconds of a blank stare. This was on the screen too, but he ended up buying. So I think he either took pity on me or just like he's like, I'll just focus on the product and not this idiot. Anyway,
Good episode too.
Yeah, that was a very good episode. I don't want to say who it was because he'll watch it and he'll know.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Orica Digital Solutions. Blast IQ Underground provides quality control and improved underground drill and blast productivity for superior blast outcomes. Effectively manage the underground blasting process from planning to post-blast analysis with user-friendly reporting, analytics, and information management. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's heavy industry tour. Attention builders, we've got everything you need to know about the grit and grind of the construction world in one show. The Construction Show is where you can share your expert techniques and strategies to help keep the crew strong and construction sites secure. From foundational tips, industry trends, safety strategies to advanced equipment and machinery. Be part of the voice of construction. Book your episode and showcase your company to millions worldwide. Visit crownsmen.com.
Hey Rory, what do you got? What do you got going on today?
So we've got OTC coming up. We have CIM coming up. We were just in St. Louis. Well, I was in St. Louis with Devin, filming there. So I am now a part of the Arch or the Arc. It's a vibe there. That's the only thing downtown because most of the buildings are empty. And
What do you
great
mean?
show though.
What do you mean most of the buildings are empty?
Oh, just everybody left downtown St. Louis. So you've just got empty parking lots, empty buildings, like towers. It's pretty cool.
That's not uncommon these days.
Yeah, they're building up like outside of downtown. So basically like when there's a ball game, like baseball game, everybody just comes in for that. And then everybody leaves. So you literally, one of the crazy things, I was not happy about it, woke up my daughter, but like out of the movies, a gang of guys on dirt bikes, face covered, and a four-wheeler, one of the sport ones went ripping by and were just like swarming around the cars driving. And basically what we heard from like everybody that works, they're like, man, this is so weird. There's so many people like in concrete and asphalt here because there's nobody ever downtown. Like that many people is never downtown anymore.
Wow.
So like 11,500 people were at the event. But yeah, you just walk by these buildings and they're all boarded up. They're all empty, glass broken. Everything's graffiti tagged. It's nice. But then you get outside going towards the Ozarks, and you've got like some really nice areas, like out by the zoo and everything. But it's weird. It's really weird.
Well, it's strangely depressing. We were
Great
also,
show though. Great show.
Oh no, that show is good. We were in what was that? That's AME, right? No. Sorry, I'm messing up.
We just went to Ag 1.
No, but SME is in
Denver.
Mine Exchange, sorry, not AME.
Mine
Exchange
Exchange
in Denver.
Denver this year. Yeah.
Yeah, downtown Denver is kind of the opposite. Man, they've taken all the old buildings, but inside they've redone it with like wood finishing and nice. Everything is just really immaculate inside, and the streets are clean other than the scooters laying, the electric scooters that people.
Are they still laying everywhere there?
Everywhere. People just
This
rent
is
them.
Denver?
Yeah, and they just step off the scooter and walk away, and there's just scooters just laying, and I mean everywhere.
That's funny. They still have them.
My first visit to Denver, and a friend of mine lived there, and I went to school with him, and he said, want to get together for dinner? And I said, sure. And I was just flying through. It was a connection. And so I got to the airport. He gave me the address of the restaurant, gave it to the cab driver, $120 cab ride to get to the restaurant.
Oh,
Had dinner, then I had to take the cab back. You know how far the airport is from Denver.
Yeah, you just got to take the train.
My first
Roy.
time there, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. You got to take the train and just go all the way down, and then,
Yeah. I'm just so used to, I fly into a place,
And get up in the cab, yeah.
get a cab,
Yep.
go. But yeah, it was like $240 US. He did buy dinner,
Well,
which
that's
was
good.
which was good of him.
It evened out. Yeah.
Rory, if you next time you're in Denver, you should at the airport you should join the race thing people do. Have you seen this? Devin was telling me about it. The people online, they because you know the layout of the Denver airport, right? It's so long from one point to the other. So people time themselves, and there's this thing to break the record on it. So people have like they put motors in their luggage. Oh, it gets wild. We'll try to bring up some photos or videos. I don't know. Again, I don't know if we're allowed to. But,
I'd have to be a mile high to do that.
Yep. Oh, some of them are a couple miles high.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I hear they have great vending machines in Denver.
I got in the mood.
Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graybond's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com. Join us in the depths of the mining world, where global leaders and industry giants converge to shape the future of mining. From groundbreaking technologies, advanced machinery, revolutionary safety measures, to sustainable initiatives. This is the voice of mining. This is Mining Now. Showcase your company to millions worldwide. Book your episode now. Visit crownsmen.com.
Jerrod, that completely went like off a tangent. The one thing I did want to mention for Lenny's segment specifically, the new product promos we've been launching, so those just came out this year. We've had like STRYDE on, that one's over like 25,000 views already. The Lumon episode that you filmed at IBS, that was over 15,000 viewers in 8 days and 45% average engagement. So that's why you need the definition of ballistic, because they are going crazy.
That's wild. That 40, that engagement, people talk so much about, they talk about impressions and then they talk about views, but you get 15,000 people watching 45% of the interview on average. That's
it's wild.
And is this the short form one, Rory?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So like we just launched, as an example, Pro Chile, and that one had it's got almost 2,000 views. And again, you've got engagement.
That just came out 2 days ago, didn't it?
Yeah, 2 days ago or yesterday. Yeah, it came out yesterday. It's got over 2,000 views almost, and the engagement's already like over 4 minutes average. So the short form, pairing that with like these long form episodes, it's really interesting to see. And then also the conversion on it. And yeah, it's just turning into this like fun and high energy product, basically. Well, product promo. And it's great. It's great seeing like people on YouTube are like, this is fantastic. And it's so specific to like one service or one product. Yeah, that you're really seeing that engagement.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's important for people, is that we're not getting away from long form, because we're not doing
at all
5 topics in 8 minutes. We're doing just one topic. So it's like a segment of a full show, because most shows will have like 5 segments. Now we're just doing one segment.
Roy, I know you did Pro Chile. Did you do any other ones at PDAC? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah, I did 2 at PDAC, but I was going to comment on Pro Chile because, and I think we talked about this last time, but when we did that show, there was probably 40 minutes of content in that when we recorded it.
Yeah.
And originally we went in, it's going to be a 10-minute segment. And, but I was interviewing 4 people. There's no way you can, but what you guys did, and it was great the way you did it, is you take the best, you distill it down, and then you've really got some solid content in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you don't get the host going off on a tangent like sometimes happens with some of us. You can edit that out, but yeah, there was that could have been that could have been a 50-minute show.
Yeah.
But
that was a little
to distill
crazy.
it down to 10 minutes was.
I don't know
you know,
who would book. I don't know who would book 4 people on an 8-minute episode. Like, who does
It was
that?
an odd thing. I was surprised.
We
Extra
all were.
work.
We all were. The yeah, and like for basically because it like Lenny's segment, it really is important that it's like it's interesting seeing all this data come in. Like when you have a new feature like that, and yeah, that one's over. Like Roy, so that launched yesterday, and over 2,100 people have watched since yesterday.
That only launched yesterday?
yeah.
Wow. All right.
I have a quote for Lenny. A quote from Too Much Coffee Man.
Okay.
Too Much Coffee Man said, everything is 90% crap. Except crap. It's 100% crap. So that's some wisdom from Too Much Coffee Man.
Zarina, please come back. No, don't pack your stuff. Why? Why are you...
I now need to
That's
find
just
a new
one.
Gowdy,
producer.
I
Can
got
you
20
please
quotes from
operate?
Too Much Coffee Man.
That's really it's interesting how Coffee Man is now tying back to Lenny. Huh.
It's all connected.
Well,
It's-
every
it's
we're all connected. Jerrod,
six
you
deg-
started
coffee
this.
is
6
crap?
degrees
Is
of
that what we're saying?
separation.
Coffee is not
No.
crap.
I love how I'm writing quotes down, being like, at 18 minutes, Roy puts down talking about crap.
I quit. I'm going to quit. I thought I was going to get fired, but I'm just going to
Is
quit.
this when we say thank you,
That's our
Veteran
can of
Lubricants?
lubricants. Yeah, please don't pick this episode to watch.
The good thing with the long form content is like only 15-20% of people watch the entire content. Wait a second.
Yeah, that's the
So I
beauty.
can put this at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, just edit everything around. Got it.
You'll be thinking about crap long after your last sip.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll
Gross.
wait to see what the
Thanks.
review's like.
That's gross.
Mhm. Oh man, Jerrod, what's your topic today?
My topic, actually, it kind of ties into what you were. This episode is really talking about ourselves heavy, but so bear with us.
Yeah,
audience.
what is going on? We're really fluffing the pillows.
Yeah, we are amazing. Okay, so I was thinking about this whole 0 to 1 thing, where you don't. Sort of the concept being true innovation. The book by Peter Thiel is that you create something from nothing. You just create something new. In our little world, there wasn't a heavy industry podcast sort of network. There'd be maybe a little mining show or a little energy show, but there wasn't someone that did, the construction, the energy. We kind of created all of it, made it into a network. People could be on one show, they could be on the other, and we created this thing. Then, once we created it, we built a following, we built a customer base, we started following the customers, and then we started doing like Change Itself, like Gus Miner from Sophie. They brought us in to produce content for them. We added that on. We did partnerships like with CIM, filming at their events, but it was all within this long-form platform, long-form content, technical information. But now we've started to add in like the short form. Before we didn't do minutes. We didn't do episodes under even 20 minutes. Every now and then we would, but most of the time there was 20 minutes plus. Now we're doing these, product promos, 8 minutes, just for one specific topic. Now we're talking about doing things like drones. I think we'll be out in Kentucky with drones in September. Or not Kentucky.
Probably October and
October. We're doing a lot more on site. And so we're starting to pull in some of these other things that we didn't chase before, because what we avoided was we didn't want to be the production company and people were hiring us to bring our drones out, because now you're competing with literally 10,000 other people with the same drone.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And so
there's some great content. Like
amazing.
Shout out to the people that do some, like Jerrod, I sent you that video. Like it was at the Komatsu headquarters in Germany.
Amazing. Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name, but anyway, fantastic content. So there's
Then
no point. People are already out there doing it.
And then there's that manufacturing group. We can bring them up later. We can find them and bring them up on the screen.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there was a manufacturing group. They're doing like really like automation and that. We're doing really technical talk, thousands and thousands of views, really good. But what we're doing now, which we're starting to sort of dip our toe into this, the drones, the on-site, all this other, the B-roll footage, but it's still with that foundation. I noticed like Netflix, you go on there now, they have like games. You can go on Netflix and play games. And I was thinking about it.
Have you seen that, Roy? Did you know that was on there? Yeah,
No.
it's been on there for a while, but yeah, it's kind of funky. You can literally play it with your remote.
So it's this thing where and not everybody could do it. If you're a contractor and you're building houses, right? You can find different ways to be innovative, but you're innovating within sort of a set model. But if you have the chance to do that 0 to 1 thing where you build something completely new, you can then, that's the first stage. But the next stage is you can then, Netflix made something new, but now they're sort of slowly starting to pull in. They're not trying to compete with Xbox. We're not trying to compete with the 10,000 people that have the drones. We're not trying to get market share there. But what I said to you yesterday, Rory, is like, it's like we made ourselves a little island, and all these other companies have their little islands, and now we're just kind of building a little bridge so that people can kind of come over when they need to, or we can take just a little tiny piece of it.
But you don't think Netflix is competing with PS5 or Xbox?
Not at all.
No, not at all.
It's not the same type of gaming.
They're competing they want the people that like gaming, that are using those platforms, to just also enjoy theirs as well. They don't have in their mind that they're going to compete against a PS5.
Like they might have
a break.
Yeah.
Take a break from PS5 to play some Netflix.
So, like, Roy, it might be a game like as simple as like the game Slither. Like you literally like have those types of games as well, like almost like the arcade type games. So it's, I mean, of course, it's attention span. It's getting like they've got like the ad tiers now, so it helps with that part of it as well.
Right.
So it's just it's kind of like if you get an extra 5 minutes from somebody on your platform, that obviously is helpful.
Yeah, and our version of that is we do not want to now go fly all over the world getting drone footage.
No.
But when we go now to film at like an SMS equipment or something like that, if we have the drones, then we can add that on to the interview. So we're just tacking on. And it's a little bit of a nuanced thing, but it's a really key strategy for people that have a new product to then, once you establish, I did it the other way before in my first business. Our core product was struggling. So then what I did is I went and just started tacking on like all these other things. Was like, because we used to do gutters, like home eaves troughs. So then we added in railings and siding and decking and patio covers. Well, the gutters weren't even making money yet.
Right.
So all I did was just create a whole bunch of variation. As we love to say, this company, variation is evil. We just added in more and more layers. I just added in more ways to lose money, as opposed to adding in tack-ons to a foundation that made
Genius.
money. The first one was genius. Yeah.
But that is like
I was 20 years
we always
old.
also we allow the customers, like I remember like when we really went, when we made the pivot, we're like, okay, we're just going to focus on, it was probably July or June, no, it was probably June 2019. And then we all know what happened in 2020. But what ended up happening is we would have companies like a Fenner Dunlop who was going to Mine Expo in 2020 and nobody could get into the USA. And they're like, can we film one here? I'm like, oh yeah, we can figure out a way to do that. So then we allowed the customers to pull us in. Now when we go to events, Jerrod, I was thinking about this. We did episodes at Mimo in Sudbury.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny to look back at, because when I was there, I was literally setting up like the camera setup. Now I'm like, that's crazy, because now I would just host the interview on site in person. But back then, it was like we still had to connect back into the studio because we were learning all the different processes.
Yeah.
So that's like the evolution and allowing like the clients basically to pull you in, because the clients love the in-person interviews. Like when you go to an event, and Roy, you've seen this, Jerrod, you've seen it, it's not even comparable anymore. People love that in-person interaction. You can read off the person too. Like you can have a conversation.
Well, you can connect with them. You can tell them about the Sedin twins in Vancouver, and just you can really, and they see that look, that dumb look on your face, and they go, "Look at this genius." Rory, though, but yeah, you're actually kind of inserting that part in. It's like, to me, I'm almost seeing 3 stages. That 0 to 1, you come up with something new.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not everybody does this, but if you have something like that, it's 0 to 1. You make that, then you have to follow the customers initially to go, okay, what do people want? But now we're in a bit of a different stage, I think, Rory, is that now you need to find values like the drones. People haven't asked us for that. We just know there's value, so we start offering it because we're following the customers by people have asked us about coming on site.
Yes.
We're following the customers. Now we're going, okay, how do we add on value once we're on site? So you kind of got to go in. But if you go from 0 to 1 and then start adding value before you follow your customers, which is what I did when I was a genius for the first company, you can just bury yourself chasing things that you haven't even listened to your customers yet. You're just trying to like basically throw paint at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, when we started cementation, a little bit different, but we recognized, even though demand isn't the right word, we recognized that some things weren't working in our industry, and clients were ready for something different. They weren't sure what they were ready for, but they were ready for something different, and so we offered that. And then what happened once we started doing that, we saw some things that worked and some things that didn't work, and that evolved. So the original idea wasn't necessarily the final product.
Right, exactly.
But it was driven by demand, and the demand was from clients that they didn't know what they wanted other than that they wanted something different.
Right.
What they had now wasn't working. And in contracting, adversarial relationships, cost plus, behind schedule, over budget, this isn't working. Okay, but we're not sure what will work, and we came on the scene and said, well, we're going to do it differently. And some people jumped on board and said, yeah, we need to do something different. Some of it worked for them, some of it didn't, but just being able to do something different, you can't evolve until you do something different, right? You got to take that first step, because you're not going to evolve from the same model that everyone else is doing. My opinion, anyway.
Yeah, but it is a fine line, right, Roy? Between if you're listening to you're talking about, you knew there was a need.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's, again, I put that in sort of that follow the customer. Netflix doesn't need to offer games. They just know that if they do it, people will like it. So
yeah, but Jerrod, you got a group like Netflix, they can try anything.
I just realized
let's throw some games on there.
They
and
can,
see
but not
what
every
happens.
company does.
Actually, I just thought of something. The reason they're doing that too is because like content is so expensive to produce for Netflix. So you get
games are cheap.
Well, especially the games they're putting on. So what they're actually banking on is, like, let's say you're watching it at night and then you switch to a game and you play that game for 30 minutes, and you might decide, oh, I'm just going to go to sleep. That allows another 30 minutes of content that you could watch the next day because they ate up that time. It's actually really strategic, probably.
Yep.
Like, I bet that's one of the things that they're looking at to see if people do switch. I'm thinking about that on the fly, but if I was running Netflix, I'd be going, okay, we just keep them on the platform a bit longer. They'll come back tomorrow or the next day. Now they have an extra 30 minutes to find something else.
Right. But again, and they're in that foundation, they are not trying to get market share. They are just using something that someone else has already built and just They're just trying to use it as a value add to what they're delivering. And that is very different than going, okay, we want to be in this business now.
I think it's keeping things fresh too, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say it like
we've got
they
Netflix.
can.
We all know Netflix, and Netflix is starting to charge more.
Mm-hmm.
And to throw some different things in there. Anyway, I'm sure there's lots of different reasons why they're doing it, and it sounds like it's working for them.
It might be. Rory, you got quite a little, what's that? You got a little, you got the gift from me in the, in your background.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice gift, hey?
I got it from the Philippines. It's a cultural,
yeah, it's nice.
cultural gift.
Right now, it's kind of in hiding.
Which gift would that be, Jerrod?
That's a little.
It's just a little man here. It's just a little person.
Stay with us for the next episode.
Oh man,
I'm leaving you with a cliffhanger.
There's so much valuable content in this show so far.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to pull up Netflix to see how their revenue is doing, and my computer's just frozen.
Rory, what did you want to chat about today?
I listed a whole bunch of things, and I'm not going to go through it all, but I read a lot of books. You know, I'm old. I read a lot of books, and I read business books. I read all kinds of books. Too Much Coffee Man is one of them.
Do you read Wall Street Journal too, just to throw in?
No, nobody reads that. But
what? Me? I read an article every day, probably.
Let me rephrase that. No, I won't.
Don't do it.
But I read a lot of business books, and the advice I've given before is when you read these books, you really have to filter about what applies to you. So as a small business, as a medium-sized business, if I'm reading about how, reading the book on Shoe Dog, about how Nike was developed, or reading something by Simon Sinek, I don't even know if Simon Sinek actually has ever developed a company other than his consulting.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
But there's lots of good advice in there. But what you have to do is figure out how, put it into context or frame it with regard to your situation. Because if people are looking at Elon Musk and saying, oh, richest guy in the world, this is why he's successful. Well, probably a lot of that doesn't apply to your, startup business. And it doesn't apply to most people, most businesses.
Such a good point. It's such
so you really have to be selective, and you really have to think about these things. There's lots of great advice.
Well, and it is really like a guy like Elon Musk, who's incredible. I mean, but I think by the time he was like 10, he'd read every book in his library or something like that, and he probably remembers
he just
all.
Read everything. He just devoured everything. He just was he's an alien. He's an alien.
One of Musk's recent comments, and you have to be careful. There's so much misinformation out there, and I'll give you an example. First of all, I'm not a Musk fan. I must admit.
He's a Musk super fan. No?
He's a Musk, right.
Well, I said this before on a past show, is the whole concept of someone who's an entrepreneur and a businessman remodeling the government is a scary proposition. But anyway, that's an opinion. One of his comments was the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. Okay.
Wait, he said that was like having empathy for people was a weakness?
Well, that was the statement. That was the quote that you hear.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually heard him say it in
the rest of the story is he explains what he means by that.
Okay.
And of course, Simon Sinek, who I just mentioned, empathy is one of the 5 key attributes of a great leader, which I agree with. But my take on it is be empathetic, but not pathetic. I like to play with words.
That. Yeah, I love that.
And I see people go too far sometimes. But, the point is be careful about these sound bites and this one-line advice. Read the whole book and decide what fits your situation, because it's the situation where Zuckerberg built Facebook,
Yep.
you know, and his experience at Harvard and so on, and very different from what Crownsmen is going through right now. Very different what cementation went through when we built it. So
Roy,
be
it's
careful.
one of the things that's really interesting. Jerrod and I have talked about this. You read a book, and they'll go, "Yeah, Buffett got his degree in Columbia for 4 years," and then it moves on to the next chapter. And Jerrod and I are always like, "This is the problem with a book. If you're not looking at it carefully, that's 4 or 8 years that they were learning, communicating with other people in the same industry." He was learning from Benjamin Graham all that time.
Yeah.
And it's just one sentence.
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk, whether you're a fan or not a fan, the guy's sending rockets almost, it seems like daily, plus he's destroying the U.S. government at the same time.
Halfway to space.
I'm kidding. Maybe he's only half destroying. Yeah, halfway to space. But if you go through like his like educational and like where he got his like engineering, it's just going to be like a couple sentences.
Yeah.
And that's the
He
same
went to
with, like,
Queens, eh?
Yep. Yep.
He's an alumni there. We don't brag about that too much these days, but
I don't know why everybody's just like everybody's so angry about their neighbors right now. Love thy neighbor as thyself, as they say.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's a reciprocal statement.
Oh,
Exactly.
really? You're going to use that term?
But it
Boy,
is
we're trying
that's
to use that term
it's
less, not more.
it's such a good point though, because that's one thing you see all the time is like even like Peter Thiel's book, you read his bio, it's like it's just a couple sentences of what he did. That was like a decade. It might be a decade of experience they gained. Like Jerrod and I are a decade into Crownsmen Partners.
Yeah.
It's like you could put it in a sentence, but
And again,
there's a lot behind that.
I've mentioned before, but I've seen the evolution of your guys' company. You know,
Yeah.
and I wasn't there for the gift baskets. I wish I had been, but
Whoa,
but
so now. I'm gonna throw something next
Oh
time.
my god, that image is so coming up.
but
We
anyway, I couldn't
paid
resist
somebody to do
Delete
it.
those all. Delete,
We-
Jerrod. Get into the system. Get them all
You
deleted
know what?
now.
I will say, though, I was smart enough. I hired one of my buddies to go do it. And I sat in the car while he went and did it.
No, you hired 2 of your buddies.
Yeah. And so they would go in, and I would just sit in the car and wait.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm not.
Actually, there might have been 3.
I'm not.
see, like
3 buddies.
No.
people always talk about genius, but Rory, I think you mentioned it. I always call it expensive education. Like all the things we did that didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
and Musk did it, and Charlie Munger did it. All these people went through these experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Well, even
Yeah,
Buffett, how many
before they became
Oh,
successes.
Buffett bought
airlines?
Buffett bought Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, he's bought Berkshire. He bought airlines. He bought that disaster in New York. What was that company called?
Oh my, Lehman Brothers.
Ooh.
Musk, or not Musk, wow. Munger walked in, was like, "You sure about this?" and Ford's like, yeah, this is good.
This is
This is
good.
good. Almost took down the entire, yep. Oh, what's that one? That one's, I can't read that.
Panic.
It's Michael Lewis. Like if you read his books, this one's Panic: The Story of Modern Financial Insanity.
Nice.
But he's written a couple books on the. I've mentioned him before. He did the Blind Side. He did Moneyball. Great author. Really entertaining books.
Mhm.
And he's done a couple of books on the financial meltdowns that have happened in the last 15 years. He just makes it entertaining.
Well, I'd say today is like another. It's another one of those days in the market. You're like, not like for me as a value guy. I'm like, nice. You just sit there and wait with your cash, and then it's like, good.
The market's fairly resilient, eh? Like
Oh,
it'll bounce back eventually once everything settles down.
yeah. It could be
That doesn't mean prices will get lower. It means it'll bounce back.
Yeah, and like it will always, with how they print money and just how that has to work, everything has to kind of grow. But the big thing is when you're looking at a company, you always have to weigh it against, okay, is this going to beat inflation? Is it going to beat what I'm getting at a GIC or a treasury bill?
Yeah.
That's what I look at.
I think that's something that people, I wish more people realize. Like, the cost of living will never go down. For one, the government borrows money.
Yeah.
That money needs to depreciate in value so that they can afford to pay that back.
And borrow more.
And borrow more. It's in the government's interest, no pun intended, to literally make inflation consistently continue. It will never, ever, ever stop. When they're talking, what they're actually saying is, we're just trying to slow inflation slightly.
Yes.
That's all that they're talking about.
That's
Instead
why
of 5%, it should be 2.5%.
Over COVID, everything doubled. So now it's like, man, we got to get this back.
We got to get it back. Yeah.
And the numbers they give too aren't even like you could go look at like prices of 2019 versus 2025, and they'll use like certain numbers that aren't even like really accurate, but most like consumer goods have doubled.
Oh, it's crazy.
And it's crazy, and all you have to do is go fill up a basket at Costco now versus 2019 and see what the difference is. But that's exactly right. Like they really just have to rein that back in so the depreciation can be, or the inflation can be at 2 to 3%.
So how would you guys plan for retirement? I know you're young, you're not worried about that now, but when you think about it, your lifespan, I wish I was born 5 years ago, because then my lifespan would have been, anyway. The time from when you work to when you die is getting longer and longer. Inflation is getting larger. I don't know all the calculations, but for the, I mean, you guys are entrepreneurs. The people that, have a day job and make so much an hour, how do you, I don't know how you figure out retirement these days. You got to work till you're 80.
Jared and I were just talking about that yesterday, and honestly, it's a brutal conversation. I don't get it.
I mean, Rory, you're the math guy. You can, you can run some numbers, and it gets kind of scary.
Yeah, like for it when you're a quick example, like all those, like say 2019 to 2025, if everything doubled, how many people in Canada or the USA or the world doubled their incomes?
Yeah.
I don't know very many people that were able to do that. And then you look at the companies and go, how many of them are doing better or are they doing worse? Well, Google, they're doing just fine. But a manufacturing company right now, a car company, like a car manufacturing company right now, they're not doing very well. Not in this environment. They're not doing great. So the calculation is, I always say, like, even in investments, like 20% cash, always, even if you're investing $100,000, keep $20,000 in cash, or at least in like T-bills or something that's very liquid, but at least giving you like a little bit, just something on it. That's one like kind of like rule of thumb I use. 20% and then 80%, and it really does change, like myself, 35 versus somebody that's 60, 70, and then even older as our lifespans continue. So like the retirement planning, that's a tricky one. But it's really tricky.
Roy, when you were our age, was there actually a path? Like, I can't say there's a clear path.
I was rich already.
Were you?
Just kidding.
Rich from your...
And you know what? There was no path, but at that time, I mean, I was an engineer. I was a partner in a company. I was making good money. My wife was a nurse.
Right.
You know, we were, you know, definitely doing better than the average earner. So I never worried about it.
Education.
I thought, well, we're doing
that's
pretty
a big
good.
thing. That's a big thing,
So
actually.
why should I worry about it?
Roy, would you say, like, giving advice to somebody, like, say somebody that's like 18 going out of high school, whether they want to do like mining or something, would you, because that's one thing I will say to people, whether it's siblings or cousins or whatever, that can give, like, getting that education can be a huge stepping stone for kind of setting up long term, I think, because it does increase your value.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because you read a few of these books about, you know, LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
He's a multimillionaire.
Yep.
And
Billionaire. I think he's a billionaire now.
Could be a billionaire.
Yep.
Out of high school.
Yep.
You know, nobody on this show right now is a LeBron James. Like,
nope.
You know, and Charles Barkley actually had a good talk when he was talking to students, and the schools he goes to, everyone wants to be a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And he started to lay out the numbers. You know, he said points, you know, I can't remember the numbers,
Yeah,
but it's
insane
like
number.
0.05% of you will be a professional athlete. And out of those athletes, you know, the ones that will be millionaires are like,
and then the average lifespan of like a lot of these players that make it is like 3 to 5 years. It's so short.
Yeah, that's your earning window.
You see
and
Crosby,
what you do with that,
yeah,
you buy 3 Lamborghinis and a big house in Malibu, or do you invest and build some businesses? And
there's a ball player out of Kamloops, and I'm forgetting his name. Wow. And he's everybody kind of chuckles because he'll drive up in his like used vehicle, but he's a good old Kamloops boy. So he is Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk, he just won't. He invests in different businesses. He doesn't go buy like the Lamborghinis and the houses because he knows, and it's so smart.
Yeah,
he knows that when it's done, you're not making 5, 10, 15 million a year. And that's just a number because you're taking you're taking a 50% haircut on the tax right off the top.
But to get back to your question, yeah, definitely. If you're interested in the trade, if you're, you know, what people don't realize about, you know, post education, about college, about university, not only are you learning, but it's a great networking opportunity.
Yes.
You know, when we started cementation, I think out of the 5 first contracts, 3 of them were with people I knew from school.
Right.
Like that network is so valuable. And you know what? It's a great time of your life too.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to work right away, or you can go to school and have some fun, maybe on your parents' bill. I don't know how that works. But, I went to BC to earn some money to go to school, but I'm digressing and reminiscing at the same time.
Well, I mean, the ability we have to solve the problems of this world while we're on the show it absolutely blows me away. But let's wrap it up. Rory, no, sorry. I'll give the review first. I really enjoyed this beer. It's creepy. This little thing on the side, but other than that,
well, we thought that would appeal to you, that creepiness.
They put the barcode. If you bring this in, it's a woman, but they put the barcode in her pony. I don't know if you can see that. That's a funky thing to do.
Wait, what?
There's a woman flexing with a ponytail, but her head is the barcode.
The barcode is a head. Yeah, that's kind of
weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
They don't waste any space on this.
That is brilliant.
I like it. Easy to drink. Rory, what did you think of this?
I thought it was a good breakfast beer. Again, these IPAs, I'm not an IPA fan. By the way, shout out to St. Louis, home of Budweiser, the king of beers, and damn, do they make good craft beer. I'm going to get us some for the show. But yeah, I love this one too. This one was fun. And this is one example the can actually does. It brings something more to the beer.
Yeah,
That's really funny. That's really funny labeling.
I always forget their name, but Budweiser actually owns my favorite beer of all time, which is a Japanese beer.
Do they own? Wait.
They own the beer. I just always forget the brand.
Asahi or
No, it's not one of those.
Sapporo?
No, it's not one of the two big ones. It's another one, but it's so I'll remember it and we can bring it up.
Yeah.
Is it in Canada? Can you get it in Canada?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I hate the sometimes.
So good. Rory, what do you rate this?
So I think this was a good solid IPA. It's bit of a bitter finish, juicy. I don't know if you say bitter or pine. Sometimes we talk about a grapefruit finish. Sometimes you talk about pine.
Yeah, I didn't
but
feel
just
the
a little
bitter.
bit.
This is grapefruit, right? Would
Yeah,
that be grapefruit, I think.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of that at the end, and tropical juice. I thought it was good. Not the best IPA I've had, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
I generally don't like IPAs, and I loved it. What did you rate it, Rory? What did you give it out of 20?
I'm between 14 and 15. I'm still on the fence. I've got to finish this first.
You hadn't tried this one before, right? Right.
No, I haven't tried it.
Why did you go out of 20 instead of just doing like 7.5, 8? Why did you choose 20?
I found what the rating out of 20 did was it confused Rory.
Oh.
I like that. I like that effect.
You guys only laugh when we look bad. When we make someone look bad. That's not nice.
Sorry.
I'm wondering, like, how many of these would make you pillowy soft?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, no, that's creepy.
Pillowy, soft,
Yeah.
juicy, and oh so hazy.
It would take a few to make me hazy. I'm not sure about the pillowy soft.
We'll
But
be thinking about Roy long after our last sip.
yeah.
Because he's so pillowy soft.
Juicy and oh so. Why do you guys keep editing stuff? Everybody's scared
They're
today.
just writing notes. Like, this is perfect.
Like,
I have a good set of notes right now. Honestly, I got like a good 8 to 9 like timestamps of certain things.
great.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Yeah. We're gonna
This will be the only episode that comes out with 8 highlights, and it's all just a
I've
disaster.
got the beer
Next
for
episode
next
of
week.
TCS,
I
all
found it.
new
It's
hosts.
called Jerrod Practices His Swedish. Yeah, that's the beer for next week.
Again, laughter.
Will we have 2 of them, though, Roy?
Or the board.
Oh! 2.
Twin beers.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for
It's
joining
a
the
double
show.
IPA.
And I missed it, but that's okay. We'll be back next week for the pillowy, soft, juicy, and oh so hazy episode featuring Roy Slack, Rory Bamford, and Jerrod Downey. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We did
Thank
the
you,
rating,
Cranky
right?
Old Men, drinking beer for
You guys haven't even
sponsoring.
finished. Sorry, what's that, Rory?
Oh, I just said thank you, Cranky Old Men, drinking beer for sponsoring.
How much do we owe? Isn't it like,
It's got to be close to 200K.
wow?
You owe us that much?
No, Roy.
No,
Check your contract, Roy. Check your contract.
Yeah, you got to check that. The fine print. You got to check that.
There seems to be a failure to communicate here.
Wow. Maybe by design. We don't know. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Next week, Rory will reveal what is in the barrel. We'll see you on the next episode of The Crownsmen Show.
Bye.